Hello everyone, this is Leo Saron from the Gaming Generation, and I am here with Javier. Today we're gonna talk about video game soundtracks. Man,
Oh yeah, I can't wait.
I love video game soundtracks. Some of them are so amazing, man.
A lot of them have a lot of heart to it too.
Yes, they do. Video game soundtracks are... you can find all genres of music there. You can find electronic, classical, Celtic, anything, rock. There's everything there.
Yep.
You know, growing up when in the 90s, there was that prejudice towards gaming music for people who are not acquainted to that, because it's just cheap tunes, you know, it's just blips and bloops. But that was far from the truth even back then, because even when the music was 8-bit, there was a lot of heart in the harmonies of those pieces.
That is very true.
Yes. We can trace back some of the best video game music back to the era of the Nintendo Entertainment System, for example. The Super Mario theme is more than iconic.
It's like as soon as a person hears it, it's like they already know what it is exactly.
Yes. And you don't even have to be a gaming fan to recognize it.
Nope, because that's how iconic Mario is.
Yes, that's...
And then you also got Mega Man as well on NES. You know, that was very iconic too.
Oh, Mega Man. Mega Man's got one of my favorite soundtracks of all. Especially Dr. Wily's stage. So amazing.
Yep.
The rock arrangements you find in the internet, my friend, they are the stuff. Mega Man is amazing. We should make a podcast focus on Mega Man in the future.
Yeah.
Now, tell me about some franchises which have the soundtrack you like the most. You don't have to pick only one franchise. You can tell me a bit or quite a few.
Okay. One of my favorite franchises of all time, you know, I mentioned this quite a few times, is Doom.
Yes.
Doom always has an iconic soundtrack. You know, back in the day with Doom and Doom 2, you know, they used samples, not exactly samples, but I would say parts of different types of heavy metal songs, not death metal or anything like that. You know, heavy metal like Metallica, Pantera, Megadeth, Ozzy Osbourne, and stuff like that.
Yes.
And then as it progressed into Doom 3, that's when they got Trent Reznor and Nine Nails to do the soundtrack for Doom 3. And they had when the newest Doom came out, that was all by Mick Gordon and the drummer from this, I would say, djent metal band called Peripheral. So you can see how that actually progressed into what it is today.
Yes, Doom is all about heavy metal. I love heavy metal, man.
Yep.
I think that one of my favorite soundtracks of all time is from The Legend of Zelda. Especially in my teenage years, I had a phase where I listened mostly to classical music, and I listened to arrangements of Zelda music all the time with orchestras, and it really made me dive into the world of Hyrule. Very powerful stuff.
Well, it is very iconic. I mean, as soon as you hear that, you know, theme song pop up,
yes.
You know exactly that. It's Legend of Zelda. No matter what game it is, it's Legend of Zelda.
I don't know. I don't think I have a specific Zelda that I like more than the others regarding the soundtrack, but I do believe that the soundtrack of Breath of the Wild was something that disappointed me a little, because the melody is there, aren't as prominent and they aren't as iconic, despite one or two pieces in the whole game.
True.
There is one thing with gaming soundtrack nowadays that I believe that they're becoming more ambient and less iconic. I know, I mean, that's not the case for all games, but I am talking about most of the AAA ones. Do you have that feeling? Do you share that thought with me?
That's actually true. I mean, a lot of games these days do have music that's just very ambient, you know. I would say the most recent game besides Monster Hunter, was, let's just say, Overwatch, for example.
Overwatch.
Okay, Overwatch has that fanfare. Whenever you start the game, it always has that fanfare, no matter what, except for the events. And then, when you play the game, like as soon as you about to start the match, there's that fanfare again, and then at the end of the match, there's the ending fanfare. It's just there for ambience. It's not really there for pleasure or anything.
So, what you just said is that Overwatch has some punctual fanfares that are fun to listen to, but during gameplay the soundtrack isn't as good. Is that it? Or am I mistaken?
Yeah, it's not really too.
Okay.
Well, to me, it's not too appealing. I mean, I'm pretty sure with all the Overwatch hardcore fans, it's like, oh god, this music's so amazing. I could really care less.
Well, but I do think this is kind of a problem because gaming soundtrack was so amazing, like Metal Gear, Mega Man, Zelda, Mario, Pokemon, Metroid, so many titles, and nowadays it's just some bland ambient music. Again, I'm not generalizing, I'm just saying that in most AAA games I have this feeling,
They're not as fun as they used to be. I mean, it's just that franchises, they're going to have, the big AAA, soundtracks and everything because, that's what people love. But when it's this is a single game by itself, it's not be appealing to anybody. But I think one game actually stood to that, and that was Nier Automata. I mean, that game got the soundtrack of the year from the Video Game Award.
Oh, really? I'm getting just before you said this to me yesterday, I read something really amazing about Nier Automata. I'm getting the urge to play this game so hard now. There are reasons popping up everywhere.
What are the reasons?
Oh, the other reason I just read how the ending works. With it asks you to be kind towards another person, and I won't spoil it here on the podcast, but it was a surprise to me how it works, the last boss fight, and I just want to see it. I just want to play. They said the story is good, the action is good, the soundtrack now you're telling me it's good. I gotta play this game.
It's a very long game, but I'm still not done with it. But to what it is, it's pretty amazing what it is.
Nier Automata. So the soundtrack, what kind of soundtrack is that? Electronic, classical?
I would say like classical, opera, and it's like a adventurous type soundtrack.
Sounds amazing. There are some instances where I heard the soundtrack before I played a game, and the soundtrack itself made me want to play the game. It's happened with Chrono Trigger, and it happened with the Mana series. I
haven't played Mana nor Chrono Trigger because I'm not really a big RPG fan.
Yeah, I know.
So, yeah.
But Chrono Trigger is so amazing, man. It's one game I believe every gamer should play, but I know it's a genre not everybody would like. You can't say, oh, every gamer has to play this game, but It's so amazing. I do feel that everyone should know it. It's I'm contradictory. I am aware of that, but don't mind me. I'm just trying not to glitch my.
Okay, I'm just gonna throw this. I'm just
Okay.
gonna throw this out there. Pretty sure a lot of people. Yay! They probably mentioned that. Blah blah blah. I'm not a big fan, but wife is. But I just say one of the most iconic soundtracks of all time. It's probably have to be the Final Fantasy VII soundtrack.
Yes, I was gonna mention it. So I do believe that's an amazing soundtrack, Sephiroth's theme and everything. But you not liking Final Fantasy, I'm not sure. What do you think of it? You
So,
don't think much, eh? But it's got rock and roll and everything. It's like an opera rock and roll. It's good.
it just cannot really grab me, to be honest. It just
You cannot separate it from the fact that it comes from an RPG.
no. It's just that I'm not a big fan of Final Fantasy.
Okay.
Music from Legend of Zelda, that, but if it's Final Fantasy, not really. Just
Okay. Okay, I can understand that.
like I mean, with me, I've been playing music for like many years. I've been in and out of bands, so on and so forth. I'm
Yeah.
very picky when it comes to music, and I'm very picky to what I make as well. And with like soundtracks like Final Fantasy and Legend of Zelda and stuff like that, I need music that's going to grab you by your soul.
Okay.
And this music like makes your head just tingle. It's like, oh man, it's crazy.
You're like a music connoisseur. Someone who really knows music and just want the best out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I have the head-boggling experience with Final Fantasy VII's music, but each individual is another person's. I can understand why you don't like it as much as I do, but I just thought.
So your Final Fantasy VII nerds out there, please don't hunt me down because I don't want to be hurt. He's talking bad about the soundtrack. Kill him.
Next day, tomorrow, you're gonna see a legion of Final Fantasy fans with torches on the door of your house, saying you're gonna like the soundtrack. Monster Hunter has very good theme music, but the songs that play during gameplay aren't as iconic. But the theme music is amazing.
Well, yeah, like the theme music for like the areas and the battles. I mean, they're pretty neat. I mean, one of the ones that was pretty neat was inside the Rotten Vale. You first meet Older. That was pretty nice.
Yeah, the game in itself during gameplay has good music that puts you in the mood of fighting monsters, but I mean that they're not really iconic. They're high quality, but not iconic.
Well, soon they will be iconic. I mean, again, the best Monster Hunter game sold.
About 7.5 million last time I checked, worldwide. Yep. It's really over the top.
Counting.
No, it's too much.
There's another soundtrack I want to talk about that came from Capcom. That's very, very iconic that we have not mentioned yet, and that was actually there's two of them. Okay, one of them is the Street Fighter II soundtrack.
No, that's one of the best.
Yes, Street Fighter II.
Each character's tune is so representative, man.
They've been to each their own. I mean, that's such a great soundtrack.
Every tune's got a lot of heart to it. I mean, a lot. So what?
and basically any fight goes with Guile's theme. Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot about that meme. And it's really true. You can put that song on any video and it works.
Yep.
What's the other Capcom soundtrack you like?
Devil May
Devil May Cry. You know, I never played it. Please don't crucify me, but I never played one of your favorite games. But what kind of music is it? Classical? Rock and roll?
It's actually industrial.
Oh,
Industrial music is like a mix of like metal and electronic type
okay.
stuff. But it's very different. But like the main themes and everything else, like it's perfect for what it is.
Nice. I mean, I wouldn't expect that. I'd expect something more classical, but industrial work seems to work fine with all the violence and
Yep.
sword and guns that game has. You know, I saw a documentary about game music once, and the composer for the Street Fighter game was having a creative block while trying to make the song for Blanca, but she's got it came to her as a vision or a sound vision, something like that, when she was commuting on the train to work. The melody just popped in her head out of nothing. It was really, how can I put it, spontaneous.
Challenging.
Challenging and spontaneous. The solution was out of the blue. You know, when I was making a game for the last year in college, I came with the most iconic track I made because I composed all the music for it. During gameplay, playing the alpha of the game, I just started singing a song out of nowhere. It just popped in my mind, and that was one of the best songs I made for the project. Came out of nothing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's true. And talking about coming out of nothing, Chrono Trigger's got one of the most iconic soundtracks out there for an RPG, and I read that the composer of songs to that title, he created a lot of songs based on melodies he heard in his dreams, actually. For this and other reasons, Chrono Trigger had the name of Dream Project while it was in development.
Oh, okay.
That's kinda eerie. I like stories like that.
So one of the best things come out thinking when you're sleeping or thinking when you're on the toilet.
Yeah, it can happen.
Yes.
But now, I do think that still The Legend of Zelda has so many good songs, man. It really draws you into the world. I think that A Link to the Past is one of the best titles in that regard. Did you play A Link to the Past?
Link to the Past does have a really good soundtrack. Yeah, I mean that one has a really good soundtrack, and so does Ocarina and Twilight Princess, Link Between Worlds.
Yes.
What else is there? Majora's Mask. Was it Seasons and
Link's Awakening. Link's Awakening's got the
Yeah.
Ballad of the Windfish.
Yep.
It's incredible.
And Wind Waker, I love Wind Waker.
Oh yeah. I love the scenes where they're restoring Master Sword's power and they play music in order to make it restore its power. Do you remember that?
Yep. The whole game's based on music.
Yes.
It'd be just like Ocarina or something like that.
One thing
you gotta get the right mood.
Yes, you play the button to change the wind's direction. One thing I love about Zelda is that it integrates music in its gameplay very often in very amazing ways. It makes music more than just sound. In Ocarina of Time, you've got the Ocarina songs. Wind Waker, you've got the Baton of Winds to do a lot of things. There are powerful scenes like the ones where they're restoring the Master Sword, and some of my favorite cutscenes in all Zeldas are the scenes where the character Sheik teaches songs to Link in Ocarina of Time. She appears, she does some sort of poetry, and then she teaches you a new song. It's really powerful. It's a really good duo, jam of a moment in the game.
Yep.
I love that. It's kind of moving, but not.
Spoiler alert: Sheik is Bruce.
Ta-da! Sheik is actually Zelda. Have you ever went to a live video game concert?
I have not. I've been wanting to, like, especially when Video Games Live usually comes out here in Phoenix. You know, I always wanted to go check it out, but never really get a chance to, or I'm always too afraid to go. So, yeah.
Oh, I went to about 4 Video Games Live here in my city. I really liked it. It was a really good experience. They make a very good show besides the amazing music. The arrangements they create for each song are very, very nice, and they've got the big screen with game scenes that transports you back to the experiences you had while playing. It's really good, and the host Tommy Tallarico is so funny, man. It's overall a great experience. You should really go to the next opportunity you get.
I should.
Yeah. I went with some. I think I went with. I didn't even if I couldn't gather friends to go with me, I went alone. I think once or twice, and other times I went with a big group of friends, and we all had a lot of fun together. But either way, it's worth it.
Cool. I'll have to check it out.
By the way, the first time I went to a Video Games Live, I skipped class just so that I could go to the venue selling the tickets, which was very far from my home. I spent the whole day just to get there, buy the tickets and get back home. And then I got scolded for skipping class. But it was worth it.
Bad Leo.
Yeah,
Bad Leo.
bad Leo. I was a really bad student in high school, but I regret nothing.
No, let me ask you this. Okay.
Okay,
So,
go ahead.
in the 16-bit era, SNES and Sega Genesis, there were 2 games, each one of them being different, but both the same franchise. That was, of course, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game. Okay, you had Turtles in Time and SNES, and then you had the Return to Shredder or the Hyperstone hype on the Sega Genesis.
Okay,
Which one had the better soundtrack?
I only played the Super Nintendo one, so I cannot judge the Hyperstone version.
We'll just let you know I played both, and they both sound
They both sound
they
amazing.
both have the same soundtracks. Yeah.
Oh, the same. Okay, but the sound chips for each console was different, so it sounded different. Even if the melodies were the same, the output was not. Am I right?
Exactly.
So which one did you like the most?
The Genesis.
Genesis.
Genesis was a lot better.
Okay, maybe Genesis had a better sound chip. I'm not sure. It's just that they
But
sound
they had an
different.
arcade graphics chip.
Oh. Alright, the 16-bit era was one of my favorites. It was a so creative era for gaming. It was the platforming era. Like nowadays we're in the shooter era where most AAA games are shooters, but back then it was platformers. But even so, each platformer was so unique and different from the others, and the soundtracks. I like 16-bit soundtracks. Sometimes I research on YouTube for a music that has like an orchestra, but I search it in 16-bit because I like the aesthetics of it, you know.
Yeah.
Like, people criticize.
Okay. What about the soundtracks that have? Alright, what about the video game soundtracks that have to deal with real, actual musician, actual bands? Like, for example, thinking back in '97 or '98, there was a game called Kingpin for the PC. The soundtrack was by Cypress,
Oh,
and
really?
then you had well, I think back in '06, '07. No, that was '06. I think around '09. That's when the remake of Splatterhouse came out.
Okay.
If you remember that.
No, I do not remember that.
You don't remember Splatterhouse?
But Splatterhouse, I don't think I played it, but I do for its.
It was a remake. It was for Xbox 360 and PS3.
Okay. So it was a band playing the soundtrack. It was band music.
Tons of bands, basically.
Okay, lots of them.
Okay. Do you like stuff like that, or do you like original?
You know, I do believe that it comes to the execution of the programmers and the directors to make it match in the game, because it really varies from title to title. I can't give you a generic answer here, like for every case I prefer the digital soundtrack or the live one. But overall, I do believe that I like a little bit the digital one more, because it makes it so that they can make it more responsive to the player. Like, they can program it better in a way that some chores will play when some actions happen. It's just more interactive, and for that reason I prefer a little bit the electronics ones, the ones made in the computer. You can have an orchestra made in the computer. I don't mean I like electronic music per se. I like music made electronically for games, most, a little bit.
Okay, you like the MIDI stuff.
MIDI, yes, MIDI music, which can sound really like, nowadays you can make MIDI music sound like real instruments. But, that's just one way to view it. Do you like the live versions more?
It depends. Like I say, I'm very picky with my music. It depends.
Okay, so it's just each case is different for you.
Yes.
I do believe that
it varies.
I think that's the best answer. It's just that for the reason of interactivity, I prefer the MIDI ones a little more. But but in terms of how it sounds, I like both. I can't pick one.
Yep.
I read that when they were recording the orchestra for Super Mario Galaxy 1, the director of that game, the creator of Mario, came to the orchestra and said, this franchise sells by the millions. That means your recording will be heard millions and millions of times. Give your best. And that, instead of making everybody feel too pressured, they actually played better than usual just because of his speech.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it worked. If I was
what's
a
funny?
musician...
I actually own that game, but
You never played it? You got it like accumulating dust in your shelf, is that it? Mario Galaxy?
Yeah.
Oh, it's a cool game. It's not my favorite 3D Mario, but it's a good experience. I'd recommend you to go and get it. You can play it on your Wii U. The soundtrack's really good too. I think it's after Super Mario 64, these ones got some of the most iconic tracks in all Mario games. I really didn't like much the soundtrack of Mario 3D World besides the main theme, and I didn't play Mario Odyssey. Mario Odyssey's got an amazing Broadway-like theme, but I don't know about the soundtrack during the gameplay. But I believe it
I
might
would
be
like
good.
to play Mario on.
Yeah, me too. That looks amazing, like open world Mario game. One thing I
Yeah.
was really saddened about in recent Mario's was that they didn't give you the freedom of moving around that Mario 64 gave you. But Mario Odyssey fixed it. That's all the more reason for me to want to play it.
It actually does sound like a lot of fun.
Yeah, it does. It does, and if every song in the game is as good as the main theme, that is just crazy, just over the top good. You know, I am in the process of making a game of my own now, and I've got to study music making with MIDI in order to make a good work out of it, because music making, even though I composed music before when I was little and in college, one thing is to write the MIDIs and do the melodies. Another thing is how you mix them and put virtual instruments to make them sound real and equalize them well. I am not good at that second part, and it's an art on its own. I've got to learn it. It's not simple.
It's not easy.
Yeah, it's really
I think
yeah. What?
I was gonna say I think making music for a game has to be the hardest thing ever for a video.
It is. It is hard because you've gotta make something that really drags the person into the gameplay. Can't just write a music full of ups and downs without considering that the player might not be in an up moment when your down moment plays, you know.
Yep.
Game music is an art on its own. I think that the composers that make good game music has got very good sense of the craft. It's not every music maker that can do well with video games.
It depends how that person feels, what they think, you know, bring out to the table, you know, like, you know, I made it. Hope you guys like it.
Oh, yeah, I wanna hear that. I wanna hear your songs. I only saw one quick clip of you singing death metal. I wanna see more of your stuff, man.
I'll post more later.
Yeah, post it. Follow Javier, people. If you want good death metal things. What was your band called, by the way?
Well, I'm not in it anymore, but it was called Sadomasochist.
Nice. Sounds really badass. But I do believe that's it. I don't know what else we can talk about today.
I think that's it, man.
Yeah, we're good. So tell us which are your favorite soundtracks from gaming in the comments below. And stay tuned to the Gaming Generation on Facebook and YouTube for more awesome gaming content. Any last words, Javier?
No, happy gaming and stay safe out there and don't do drugs.
Yeah, don't do drugs. Only music. Bye bye.
Drugs are very bad.
Yeah, they are. If you spend too much money on drugs, you won't have money to buy all the DLCs for your favorite games.
And like they used to say back in the arcades, winners don't do drugs.
Very true. Very true.